Hello, we're at the business lounge. We're in the posh seats today, which is very unusual for me. I've got my suit jacket and everything. It is Graham speaking, by the way, in case you were wondering. To my right, I've got Sean from the Irish Blackcast, but with a Durham accent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Are you alright?
Yeah, good, yeah. Enjoying it so far.
I've got Michael, who, I'll be honest with you, we Cooper roasted a bit last night, didn't we?
Oh, bit this morning. Good night though, wasn't it? Okay.
From what I remember of it.
Yeah. Sore heads this morning, and it didn't help that we were staying in our apartment. It was like an igloo. Literally minus.
Igloo?
Yeah, like 10 degrees.
Sounds like an easy
We got a warm bottle of water last night, came in this morning, it was like an ice bottle.
bet you respect it and like that in the morning though. And in front of me I have Sunderland's very own Darren Williams. You alright, Darren?
Yeah, great, aye. Yeah, pleased to be here, really.
Yeah, posh seats, nice, isn't it? You're used to it though, aren't you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. One goal against Borough and it's posh seats.
Key to the city.
Yeah. So I think the lineups just came out. We've got, I think, one change because, as Neil so nicely said last week, Joe Lynch died. So rest in peace, Joel. He's been replaced by Tom Flanagan. I'll come to you first, Sean. What do you think of the team? Are you surprised he's kept Dobson in?
Yeah, I thought he might have started Scowen. I don't know, I thought Dobson didn't have the greatest game down in Pompey, and I thought, I might have seen White come out and Lafferty come in.
Yeah.
But he's keen to continuity and give the system a go, see how they get on.
Yeah. I've got my opinions on Dobson, as everyone knows, but even I would have probably dropped him, so which hurts my heart to say, but there you go. Michael, what do you think of the team?
Yeah, I thought there'd be a couple of changes as well. I'm surprised. I think Parkinson's really wants to keep the consistency going on, as Sean said, with the team, but I would have thought Lafferty in. White's really been poor. I know he scored against Tranmere a couple of weeks ago, but really his performances haven't been great.
No.
Dobson, I'd say you're happy staying in.
I
Just look at his hair.
I love Dobson for one reason only. Well, I've took my time.
Yeah. Other than that, no, it's not the worst team really, but we'll see how we get on. I would have thought I definitely thought Lafferty would have started anyway. I was surprised at that. Yeah.
White was meant to be injured as well, wasn't he? So
he's playing pretty shy, to be honest.
Yeah. And Darren, I think you probably know a little bit more about football than us, so we're probably all wrong. But what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, well, I thought there would be a few changes, to be quite honest. Got a lot of games coming up, a lot of big games, and games that we need to win. And obviously today is one of those. Maybe there's a few changes from the disappointing result last week. But the manager's come on his own, to be fair. So I think we can't really judge against him at this moment in time. He's been on a bit of a little run, decent run, but unfortunately, last week was a bit of a blip. Whether he sees that as just been a little bit of a one-off, maybe that's to say he wants to continue with the side that has done well for him in previous weeks.
To be fair, Portsmouth were playing well as well. It wasn't like you lost to someone bottom of the league.
It's a difficult place to go.
Yeah.
It's not a nice place to go either.
I can't say anything nice about Portsmouth. Sorry, lads. I just can't.
After last year.
No, just can't have it. Not at all. Someone told me the other day Cameron Burgess was vegan. I was like, fine, I'm going to eat meat. That's fine. I've been, for those who don't know, I was vegan for a long time. We've been on the podcast 3 minutes and I've said that. That's a good new record, I think. But I think, we talked about the game last week and it was poor, wasn't it? We've got to be honest, it was absolutely rank rotten. I think George Dobson falling over the ball and the air kick, and it was just it just summed up the entire day, didn't it?
You see that now, is it?
No.
It was funny though, in fairness.
It was really hilarious.
It was disappointing as well, seeing us concede goals from set pieces, because we have been good defensively, in the last 6-7 games since Christmas.
One guy didn't want to score.
And it looks like, the thing is, with every cross that came in, every set piece, it looked like we were going to concede as well. I mean, maybe I should come to you with this, Darren, as well. But did you watch the game last week? Or did you see the goals?
I seen the goals, yeah. Yeah, I seen the goals.
What was your thoughts on what went wrong with that? Where, as a defender, a former centre, well, you played anyway, didn't you? Let's be honest.
Half main goal.
Yeah. Mainly centre half, I would say, or right back. What would you say was wrong from your opinion with the kind of setup we had? We had Luke O'Nien on Burgess at one point, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange setup. I think, I'm a big believer, obviously. You go man for man, but you probably try and hide for height. As much as you can. Don't get me wrong, you're not always going to have that. One team's got giants, then obviously you're always going to have small players in your side. But for me, I don't know. It's you've got to be disciplined. You've got to stay switched on. You have a split second in that box where you switch off, you're going to concede, and those things maybe crept into that, and that's why we maybe keep conceding from set pieces where we're normally decent.
Are you surprised that Ali Mozturk's been Well, he's on the bench today, but before that he'd been dropping completely.
He wasn't injured or anything. Like there was no talk of him being injured.
And he's always been consistent for me.
Well, yeah.
This was a strange one. We had this one on Thursday night, and I basically said, he has been consistent. He's been doing well, So, and that's a big hit on a player as well. If you're in the side and you believe you're doing well, and that's where players are always super critical. So if you know you're not doing well, you're your worst enemy because you pick the bones out your own game. So for me, he's been doing well. So he's now scratching his head thinking, well, why have I actually been left out? So whether the manager's pulled him and actually explained why he's out, then I hope he has, because that can play on a player's mind and obviously can have a knock effect on him.
Same as last year though as well. Like Ulster comes in and out of the squads. No manager seemed to rate him really that highly consistently to start him every week. Ross was the same last year. Remember, it was the Doncaster game near April. We won 2-0. He had a great game with Jimmy Dunn. Before that, he wasn't even in the squad for a month or two. Like it just seems strange.
The thing is with Ozturk as well, he's like the new Phil Barsley. No matter who we bring in, eventually after 5 games, he just gets back in. But it's like. For me, Ozturk, since the Sheffield Wednesday game last season when he made that absolute howler of a mistake, he's never really put a foot wrong. And there's some people that don't think very much of Ozturk, and football's a huge game of opinions, but I can't understand why you wouldn't want a bloke that just gets rid of the bloody ball when it goes in your box.
Yeah, it's because he just kind of like plays simply, doesn't he? He doesn't take no nonsense. Probably the sexy centre half, you know what I mean?
Be a no-nonsense defender, especially at this level, you have to be a no-nonsense. You just get be a defender first and foremost. Yeah. Once you start commanding games and you're on top of games, then you can be a little bit like, well, I'll get it down and play. You know what I mean? But first and foremost, I would say if you're a defender, defend. Do your job.
And he does it. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with the defence as well. I mean, we'll go back to sort of the Premier League days, 99-2000. You had Paul Butler, who was, I love Paul Butler, but he was a brute. We just got rid of it, and then you had the likes of Steve Bold or Jody Craddock or yourself could come in and play a little bit and play it out from the back. I feel like Ozturk and Flanagan really weirdly in the back three sort of work, because Flanagan's not that bad coming out. I much prefer him on the right hand side. A lot of the time he plays on the left, and I do see him be a bit dodgy when he's on the left. But then Willis is so good on the right. But I quite liked the Willis Flanagan flanked either side of just the big brute in the middle, because if it went near anyone, if there was ever a ball that came in the box, Ozturk would just get rid of it. There would be no miscommunication or anything like that. You just launch it out. Whereas, hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully we'll listen back to this and go, I totally understand why Bailey Wright was playing there. But Bailey Wright didn't strike me as the commanding centre half I thought he was going to be last week, although it is very, very early to judge.
He hasn't played a lot of football either. He barely played for Bristol City. He was injured, and then
he's still waiting to get injured. To get a bad injury as well. He has a bad record, doesn't he?
I mean, you run the risk of that, don't you? You know what I mean? You take somebody who's had a list of injuries over a short period of time, and you run the risk of them actually getting injured.
A real Sunderland signing as well. A real Sunderland signing.
Apparently not the first Aussie to ever play for us. Apparently we had an Aussie that played for us in the 30s or something. Someone told me the other day, and I was just like,
Darren, do you?
Put us go together.
But hopefully, we'll come back after the match and we'll have whoever's doing the end of the pod, because I don't think I'm going to last the day, I'll be honest with you. I don't think you're going to last the day. But I'll go with some predictions before we go. I'll come to you first, Sean.
I think we'll win today. I think Ipswich are on a bit of a poor run. They've not beaten anyone in the top 8 this season. 2-1 Sunderland. I
really, really want to beat Ipswich here. Here's a little random story for you, and you'll remember this game. Tuesday night, got beat 2-0, meant that we were in the playoffs. My dad came in, as drunk as he ever was that night, and it was like, he just came in, watched the game, steely, angry, sort of, oh, damn, we're in the playoffs, bloody Ipswich. And when, I think it was David Johnson or Alex Mathy, ex-Mag, missed the penalty. And my mum went, oh, well, I missed the penalty at least. And my dad just lost his ride completely and went, but he got the second, and picked up a loaf of bread and launched it at the TV. We were picking crumbs out of it, the widescreen TV. Well, it wasn't, not that wide looking back now, but picking crumbs out of that literally up until pretty much till the divorce, to be honest. Probably still am, but back to more serious matters. What do you think, Darren?
I think, I think we'll win today. I mean, obviously there's talk about them having a few injuries. But like I said, until the team sheet comes out, you know their team. You don't think, but that can have an effect on the players. They see in in the papers and this or online. So you kind of you start relaxing a little bit and think, oh, well, you know, a bit of an easier game, but it's never going to be an easier game. I mean, Ipswich up there for a reason. They're a decent side, but I do believe that we win. You know, again, I'll go 2-1.
Who was the first Sunderland player to score against Ipswich at the Stadium of Light?
Wasn't me, was it?
Darren Williams.
I had a feeling it was me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to say it.
Don't want to blow me on trumpet.
It was a scruffy header at the back post, if I remember right. Then Kevin Phillips scored an overhead. Phillips scored an overhead kick, which wasn't too bad. What are you thinking?
2-1. I think 2-1 as well. Maguire scored a winner. Free kick.
He's due a good game.
Yeah, but we have to be winning these games.
Someone, I don't know who it is, doesn't like Newcastle, which is fine. I think he's going to win 5-0, which indicates how much he's drank. I'll go with my prediction. I think 2-1. Yeah, I think 2-1 as well.
All round 2-1 it is.
We need to go do a bet now.
I think it'll be a Charlie White hat-trick, one in his own net. But thanks for checking in at the second part of International Fans Day today. Thanks to Darren, thanks to Sean, thanks to Michael. We're going to try and have a sleep, I think.
Yeah, sleep through the game. I'm half-time challenge as well.
Are you on the half-time challenge?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You're going to straight on your arse.
Yeah.
Straight on your arse. Unless you meant the half-time challenge was like how many more pints can you drink every weekend, but...
How long can I stay awake?
Yeah. So we're back at full time after a great win, really, wasn't it, Michael? Good win.
Yeah, brilliant win, yeah. Chalk and cheese between the first and second half.
Yeah, massively. Gary, you didn't join us this morning, or this afternoon, or whenever it was, but this afternoon, 2 o'clock, wasn't it? That's right. But you're back with us.
I am indeed. I am absolutely buzzing with the win. Like, really needed 3 points there, especially looking at other results there today. We needed them 3 points.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you could feel it in the stand as well. Second half, the closer it got that last 10 minutes, you could feel that everyone knew we needed those 3 points. But during half time, Michael, like I said before, I felt like the United Nations fell in the centre circle at one point. But then talk us through your fucking worldie.
Absolutely. I was absolutely bollocks now, but I said I have to defend. I can't shoot, so I said if I can defend, don't let anyone score, I'll get my chance eventually. And credit's due, I got the ball for myself on the edge of the box and just a little dink into the bottom corner.
It's quite funny. You became famous in my corner because when you put it in, I was like, I was drinking with him last night. It was like, all right, I don't think he's signing for us yet. But
I've ruined my trousers, so the runners are fucked. But I brought a spare pair because I knew this was going to happen.
You've a Sunderland contract on the way for you now anyway, so you'll be able to pay for new runners.
The amount of half-time slips, it was absolutely bizarre. But before we get into the game, I suppose a little bit more in depth, what was your thought on a really weird refereeing performance?
Oh, shocking. It was like playing against 12 men there. Yeah, all the calls. I actually, what for the back pass? I didn't think that was a back pass.
It wasn't.
No, I'm 100% certain they both hit the ball at the same time and then it back into McLaughlin. I also thought if you hit the ball off the foot of the keeper, I thought you were out to pick it up then, but it might be wrong on that as well. I wasn't sure.
I mean, the Ipswich players almost shouted for it, but there was so many times when the referee kind of made a decision and then went, Ipswich. And it was and I watched the linesman do exactly the same, and he did the same. I mean, I might be wrong watching it back, and I would have to watch it back. This is unfortunately a reaction pod, which means that the reaction I'm going to have might be different once I've seen it back. But to me, it was not a back pass. And why would everyone around me said, why would McLaughlin pick it up if there was a slight element of doubt with that? I mean, which end of the stadium were you at?
The west, where the goal was, so we didn't see where far end from there.
Okay.
But from where there, I was convinced that Flanagan, I don't know who he was with the Ipswich striker, both hit the exact same time, and I thought it was grand for McLaughlin to pick it up, but I don't know, maybe people at the other end might have seen it better than we did, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, it was right in front of us, so if I have got it wrong, then it's really going to show up my knowledge of football. But
you might need glasses.
When he picked it up, I was like, oh, well done, lads. And then it was just a case of hang on, he's done what? But it was like a case of decisions that were just crackers. And I've said this for a few weeks that I've wanted to see Kyle Lafferty start, and he was on a minute when we scored.
Yeah.
do we put all of the win just down to Kyle Lafferty?
In fairness though, what I would say is that Parkinson, like I give him stick for his substitute sometimes. I think he delays it too long, but today I think he got the most spot on. I think Lafferty was perfect at that stage, and it was actually good to see him go with 2 up front. I was convinced it was going to be straight swap for White, but it was good to see the ambition that he wanted to win, and in fairness we needed to win, so I have to give credit where it's due for Parkinson for that decision. It was the right call.
What did you make of the game management, Gary?
The
game management from
game
Parkinson.
management, yeah, I thought, you know what, he waits. We all kind of talk about how long he waits to make his changes, you know, but at one point you're looking and there's a couple of lads that are looking tired. I thought, being honest with you, kind of an hour in, I thought Charlie was tired, but then it was when he got a second win, then he just had a new lease of life, and it's fantastic. And even with, I don't know how we got a free kick for us there, 5-10 minutes left, backing in again, another one of these weird decisions where he's backing in, and he just fell, and somehow we got a free kick. We're not going to complain, but yeah, well, back to Parky. Game management, I thought the subs worked. Obviously Lafferty coming on. So you want to waste a couple of seconds at the end there as well and bring Conor McLaughlin on, but all in all I think great, absolutely fantastic, like delighted.
Did anyone else panic like mad when Conor McLaughlin came on? Even though it was just a minute, it was like,
you just thought he was going to do something like
McLaughlin and Flanagan on at the same time. There's no way we're keeping a clean sheet.
Flanagan played well though, to be fair.
He did.
And he saved us at the end there. I think Ipswich went through and he got back and put a good tackle in.
It was his own fault. They went through though, wasn't it?
I think the defence, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but the defence just looks a lot better when Joel Lynch isn't in it.
Yeah.
And I can't pinpoint why. I think it just looks better when Joel Lynch isn't in it. And it's not because it's more balanced with Flanagan in, because Joel Lynch is left-footed, Flanagan's right-footed.
Yeah.
But Flanagan today just looks so much more assured and willing to get his body in the way than maybe Lynch sometimes does, which is probably a bit harsh on Joel Lynch considering he got knocked out last week.
May rest in peace.
Yeah. But another thing, and everyone's going to say I'm really biased for this, but I have to mention it, right? I was very much of the opinion George Dobson needed to be dropped. Yeah. I said, you know what, he looked tired, I think it's a wrong decision, I'd play Scowen or someone else. But to be honest with you, today, I thought he's one of our better players today, George Dobson, and I really think it's harrying in the second half, but his range of passing as well, the time he pinged it, I thought it was one of his better games today, and I really think we need to be a bit more patient with him sometimes. I'm not saying he should be in the team every week, but he's still a young lad. And I think he's shown quality over the past, since Christmas time, he's had really good games and really bad ones. And I think if we just persevere a little bit, maybe introduce him on and off, maybe take him out sometimes, he's going to become actually a really good player for us. I know people will laugh at that because people have made their mind up on Dobson, but as a player away from my kind of jokey loving, I think George Dobson played really well today, and I think that's why when people say he's just shite and he doesn't create anything, doesn't do anything, one of the worst midfielders I've ever seen, I think you look at his range of passing, he's certainly not.
No. He has the ability, as you said, he's still a young player, and I think what you got to remember as well is he was at Walsall last year, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's a massive step up from Walsall to Sunderland, and obviously the fans as well, they can be demanding, so you have to give them a chance, but I think you got to remember as well, we play in midfield too, where most teams you're playing against do have 3 in midfield, and sometimes it can be quite difficult. Especially for a young lad, you can get overrun. But I actually was surprised though as well that Scowen didn't get a chance today. I thought maybe last 10-15 minutes he could have come in. But credit where credit's due to Parkinson. We won the game.
I even said with Scowen, I said when we scored the goal, I said get Dobson up, power off and get Scowen on, because apparently this kid just
likes to break people up. Yeah,
break it. It's that's just what you want. But I mean, the first half was, let's be honest, the first half was pretty dire.
Rancid, turgid.
And Ipswich didn't necessarily look good as opposed to we looked really bad. But as soon as we stepped it up again, I tell you what, I mean, we're talking about it sort of near the end of the game, or just before we scored actually. It's funny how Jack Ross's teams always got worse after half time. Parkinson seemed to get better.
Yeah.
The Donny game was 0-0, but we did come on stronger second half. We actually, it's got to be the fitness, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That too, but I think Parkinson may have the ability to give them a kick up the hole that they need at half time. We've had a couple of games recently where we start really, really fast, like the Wickham game, for instance, 3 up after 21 minutes or whatever it was. a couple of games recently now, we've come out and we've been flat, and come out second half, a different team. And just, like, I think our midfield today was phenomenal. Obviously, you've mentioned Dobson there, but I think Max Power was unbelievable. I know with Maguire scoring the goal, he'd probably get man of the match, but I think Max Power would have been in, which it was a 0-0 draw. I think Max Power would have been man of the match, to be honest with you. I thought he was phenomenal.
Really critical of Max Power, and I think that kind of came to a bit of an epiphany as to why, is because I know he can produce what he's produced consistently over the past 6 to 7 weeks, and I think that's my frustration with Power, is I know how good he can be. It's not so much not rating him, but like that captaincy, since he's put that armband on, I don't know if it's a different person, but it seemed to have changed him a little bit, doesn't it?
He's like a big brother in the side, really, to the likes of
Dobson.
To Dobson, absolutely,
And it was interesting, we were noticing, obviously we're in the business lounge, and anyone who's been in it, you'll notice like outside there's a window where you can see the players coming in, the players entrance, and obviously we've seen Max Power get out of the car, and he was in the passenger seat. Well, this must be Charlie White giving him a lift, because obviously they love each other. I think that much is obvious. It was actually George Dobson and Max Power rode in together, and I don't know why I would have never put them two together as like close buddies, but I suppose it's quite good to see that there is relationships that are developing within the squad, as opposed to the ones we just see on social media now and again, and the ones we hear of and the ones we see on the pitch.
They're the important ones as well, isn't it? Because they're the two in midfield consistently over the last 7-8 weeks, so it's good to see them working together on and off the pitch. I also want to point out, how did Bailey Wright miss that?
Oh my God, was that Bailey Wright?
Yeah.
I thought it was Charlie White.
No, Bailey Wright.
Oh my God, man. Well, Charlie White got dogs abuse for that an hour. So.
Charlie White get dogs abuse anyway.
White then did miss the chance after Gooch hit the post.
That was Bailey Wright.
Was that Bailey Wright?
The crossbar. Hit the crossbar.
I thought that was... he passed it right back to the keeper.
One we just
the
passed
post.
it back to the keeper.
Oh yeah.
Gooch cut in just after half time, hit the post.
We missed so many chances.
And then White, it fell to White, and White kicked it straight at the goalkeeper.
That Gooch run
is class.
I think, like, I just sometimes feel like he like, you know, Spider-Man, like whatever made Spider-Man. Occasionally I just think like Gucci just gets like some kind of messy injection and just goes, you know what, I'm going to do this. But like, the thing I've liked about Lyndon Gooch, and I was shouting at him a few times today, and I think everyone gets frustrated with Gucci holding onto the ball sometimes. You know what, he's releasing that ball quicker. He's doing that little bit of magic, then releasing it. And there's definitely a maturity coming through Lyndon Gooch that I haven't seen, I didn't expect maybe 2 months ago. I didn't think Lyndon Gooch coming back would be such a big player for us.
I think the game is slowing down for him, maybe, you know, the composure's coming in because he's not 21, 22, well, he's 23, 24 now.
23, 24.
Yeah, so like he's maturing a little, as you're saying, but it's composure, and obviously the game slows down around you then, so you don't mind putting your foot on it and having to look around as opposed to just putting the head down, doing a Duncan Watmore with it.
I really felt like Maguire today as well. I mean, Maguire normally after 60 minutes is blown out of his arse, but there's a few times I even said I'd maybe get Watmore on a bit of pace because Maguire will probably start tiring at around the 70-minute mark, and the one person that didn't tire was Chris Maguire.
Such a big game.
He just kept wanting the ball. He's a big game player.
He always stands up in the big games. We were saying beforehand, I was convinced Maguire was going to have a big game today because he's due one. And in fairness to him, when the big games come around, he's always stood up to be counted for. Now that could be a massive goal now by the end of the season. You could look back on this game, it could be a massive push for automatic promotion. I hope after the next few games coming up.
I think I want to take a bit of credit for that goal as well. I was in the change room yesterday and I put a bit of magic into his jersey. It was the only jersey I picked up, so I take credit for that. 50-50 me and Chris.
Curiosity, next week, Tuesday, sorry, should I say, going into the game against Rochdale. It absolutely needs to be a game that we look at winning, 100%. But just to put some minutes in legs and just to kind of freshen things up a little bit, so we don't look as leggy as maybe we did sort of first half, and just to kind of make sure the players don't burn out. Do you bring in Lafferty, Scowen, like from the beginning?
John?
Yeah, Declan John wasn't even
on the bench. No, I was surprised.
Hume looked tired today, so I think maybe give him a game off and we'll have him back at the weekend then maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's going to happen with Hume, I think, as well. I mean, it's his first proper season, isn't it, really? And I know he's 22, 23, but he's never been out on loan or anything like that. And I think Declan John he's been at Rangers, Swansea. We're not talking clubs here that are like League One level. He'll be experienced enough and want to impress enough to he should be able to come in, and then if he plays really well, you've got competition, and Denver Hume's not the first choice. And the same with Lafferty. Like, I think that's why I'd probably start Lafferty, because I think Charlie White's beginning to think he's the guy who always plays there. And if I'm honest with you, I think Lafferty is 10 times bigger and better.
And it might be a good game for Lafferty to get in against Rochdale. Like, they're not the strongest team in the league. It could be a good chance to get off the mark, get a goal. But you'd assume, even with a couple of changes, that's a game we should be winning comfortably enough.
Yeah.
But we never do things like that.
No,
it won't be Sunderland way.
A quick word on Ipswich. They don't look like the side that's going to be touching the automatics, do they?
No. First half, I thought they were decent enough. I think we exposed O'Nien a little bit there, and they exposed O'Nien down that wing.
Yeah.
They were getting a lot of ball. It was their number 30, I can't remember his name. I think I have the programme here.
That was lucky that we had the programme right on that.
Miles Kenlock, was it? I thought he was really, really good first 20. But no, they don't really show any potent threat up front. Like, with respect, Will Keane is not a great striker. Like, and in fairness, we made him look like Messi for the first 20. They met the ball, the space we gave him on the ball. But you saw once we actually tightened up and we actually pressed them higher up the pitch, they weren't great. They were making a lot of mistakes. But no, I agree. I'd say they're playoffs at best.
Yeah, I would say playoffs at best, because any team can go on a little bit of a run when they're in like sort of the top 10. I think, and go from like 7th to like 4th, it seems. Like, look at us, we were 13th a couple of wins, and we suddenly were like 5th off top. But I think the good thing is you're looking at Sunderland's games and you know what, I'm going to stick my neck on the line here, and as much as it kills me to say it, I think Portsmouth are surefire.
They're the best team.
Yeah, by far. They've hit the stride at the right time, but they've had the difficult period out the way, and they just dominated us last week. They were just a better side. But I think outside of that game, we've been absolutely excellent, professional. Defensively solid, and that's the 5th. I think it's the 5th clean sheet in 6 games.
Yeah.
Before Parkinson came in, we had 1, and that was Sheffield United of all bloody teams. So I think, and I've been very critical of Parkinson, and probably will continue to be until we're promoted. And I've said this many times. I can't wait to be wrong. I'm dying to be wrong.
Beating humble pie.
But you've got to give him credit for getting those clean sheets. You've got to give him credit for those clean sheets. But he's made us. It's like the Sam Allardyce situation, isn't it? Like, we went through the kind of really shit period. It's a little bit different getting beat off Everton to get beat off Gillingham, and now he's like got that defence solid. He's got a formation and a team that he wants to play. And no matter how many times we say change this, or maybe try that, maybe do that different, he keeps doing the same thing and grinding out results.
He knows the division though, doesn't he? Like, I mean, he's been here, he's done it before. I mean, it might be the prettiest football to watch all the time, or it's not like sexy play, but like, I mean, in fairness, we're getting the results, and I'll take 1-0 wins all to the rest of the season if we get promoted.
Yeah.
Today I was saying about 75 minutes in, it felt like a 0-0 draw. Like, you look back at the likes of yourself over Shrewsbury, we hit the crossbar, we hit the post with, I think, 65% possession. But you knew we weren't going to score.
It felt like that after a while, didn't it?
It did. But today, I don't know, we just have that bit of steel, I suppose, that we do kick on again when, I suppose, turn the screw a little bit, as I'd like to say, that kind of way. It feels like the team is made of kind of hardier stuff, exactly, yeah.
It felt a bit like the MK Dons game, where, like, if I remember the first half of MK Dons, it was shocking, like really bad. But then the second half, we just stepped it up a gear. Yeah. And I think 1-0 wins like that is what is going to get sides promoted.
We have the players with that bit of magic to get those goals, like Maguire got today and Gooch before. Like, so if we keep it solid at the back, I'd give us a really good chance of getting that second spot, because I probably agree with you. I think Portsmouth are the number 1 team in the league, to be fair.
It's not pretty, and it's not the most beautiful football we've ever seen, and we don't have the most talented players on the pitch, and there's a lot of negatives you could find from it, but at the end of the day, this division doesn't need anything extraordinary to get out of it. We've got enough players like Gucci who can pull out winners against like MK Dons. You've got a good set of strikers there, and Charlie White, Lafferty. Will Grigg didn't even get on our bench, and how many League One teams would love that? And I know he's been shite for us, but I don't think Grigg is a bad player. I think it's just been a bad move, and it happens. But we've got enough in this league for the games that we need to just get over the line when we haven't played that well. We've shown at MK Dons, and we've shown today that we've got those players that can just turn that 0-0 or 1-1 into a 1-0 or a 2-1. I think as a team, collectively, without that bit of magic, we're still good enough to keep ourselves in every game. Take out the Portsmouth games, I don't think anyone's really troubled us necessarily. I'm going to stick my head on the line. I'm going to say I think we'll go up automatically. Second
Place, I'll take that.
Well, we don't want Wembley, so absolutely.
I'd love Wembley if we bloody won it this fucking place.
We don't, so we never win it.
We never win it.
I think you're saying there Portsmouth as well. I think in the first half though against Portsmouth, we were
Nine shot goes in the back of the net. It
could be a different game.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think they played us off the park, so that's great. And as much as we're bigging them up, I don't think we should be afraid of them either. You know,
No, absolutely
even
not. No.
God forbid if we did end up in the playoffs with them again, for instance, I don't think we should be afraid of them.
I would fancy us to get to Wembley in the playoffs, just when
Not
we
to win.
eventually get there. It's like we want to get there for the trip, but then you know that just calls it up. Thanks very much for joining us. I was going to say I'm going to go get drunk, but I'm not. Like SAFC fan TV, and it's time to go get pissed again. But not for me because I'm ill. But Michael is obviously. But thanks very much for being on, lads.
Appreciate it. Thank you.